Going to West
Call
Virginia.
this regular
They have an 80 acre
meeting
farm
one
in
day
the
early to order, please.
In Virginia, West
November
Virginia.
22nd, 7 p.m. Would everybody rise for the invocation?
This is not written by me. This is a prayer, Thanksgiving prayer by Reverend Max Kutz from Canton, New York. Let us give thanks for a bounty of people, for children who are our second planting, though they grow like weeds and the wind soon blows them away. May they forgive us our cultivation and finally remember where their roots are. Let us give thanks for generous friends, with hearts and smiles as bright as their blossoms, for feisty friends as tart as apples, for continuous friends who, like scallions and cucumbers, keep reminding us that we've had them, for handsome friends who are as gorgeous as eggplants and as elegant as a row of corn, and the others as plain as potatoes, but oh so good for you. For funny friends who are as silly as Brussels sprouts and as amusing as Jerusalem artichokes, and serious friends as unpretentious as cabbages, as subtle as summer squash, as persistent as parsley, as delightful as dill, as endless as zucchini, and who, like parsnips, can be counted on to see us through the winter. For old friends nodding like sunflowers in the evening breeze, and young friends coming on as fast as radishes, for loving friends who wrap around us like tendrils and hold us, despite our blights, and finally for those friends now gone, like gardens past that have been harvested, but that fed us in their times that we might have life hereafter. For all these we give thanks. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Will you call the roll, please? Then we'll pass the plate for Reverend Richardson.
Wheelock,
Have you heard?
I have not.
We'll assume he's late
Please.
up to this point.
Present.
Max Bauer. Here. Richardson,
Here.
Stepka,
Here.
Inman,
Here.
Hooper,
Here.
Thomas,
Here.
and Friend is excused.
Yes. Now it's time for limited public comment. If you'd like to read the rules, please.
Any person shall be permitted to address a meeting of the Board of Commissioners which is required to be open to the public under the provision of the Michigan Open Meetings Act as amended. Public comment shall be carried out in accordance with the following board rules and procedures. A, any person wishing to address the board shall state his or her name and address. B, no person shall be allowed to speak more than once on the same matter, excluding time needed to answer commissioners' questions. The chairperson shall control the amount of time each person shall be allowed to speak, which shall not exceed 3 minutes. Chairperson may, at his or her discretion, extend the amount of time any person is allowed to speak.
Does anybody want to speak?
I'm Diane Thompson, 599 Hobbs Highway South. I'm also office manager at Department of Public Works. I just want to re-clarify maybe one more time about the salary, well, non-contract exempt, which is non-union salary, the 10% we pay on our insurance. Even the minutes from one of the previous meetings, I was challenged by one of my staff people, what do you mean you're not going to have to pay your co-pays anymore? So I want to make sure, even in the minutes, it's referred to as insurance copay, but it's not. We're still going to pay our copay at the doctor's office and our prescriptions. What we're talking about is the 10% we've been paying on our insurance, I believe, since 2002, 2003. And at that time, we were told everyone in the county eventually was going to get there. Now it's kind of backed all off, and we're the only group that is paying that. I do know the subcommittee recommended that be discontinued, and I hope you'll do that. I just wanted to re-clarify that one more time. And I didn't really mind paying 10% insurance. It's a huge amount the county pays. But now that we're the only group, and I know you've been trying to focus and said over and over again, you're trying to be fair and equitable. It doesn't seem like it's fair and equitable anymore. And I know Commissioner Friend, who's not here, had said, well, she never would have voted for it. It would be one or the other, either the cost of living or removing the 10%. She never would have voted for both. I know over the years, people had always told me that the county always did right by the non-union groups and usually gave them as much or maybe even a little more. I'm not sure that's panned out over the last few years. I know when our staff, hourly people recently went to union, they all got raises. And just looking at the different rates from the different groups, we're definitely not at the top of the level. But, you know, I'm an H, so I'm at the very bottom of your salary group. So maybe it's different for the managers that are higher up. I did want to take 1 minute, too, to thank you for letting Ross Childs fill in for Chris Boudet. He's a whirlwind, and I don't know what we ever would have done without him this time or the last time. He's only working part-time, so we've had a lot of extra work in our office, and my office staff is fabulous. They put in a lot of extra hours. They've done it willingly. But one thing I want you to remember, that the salary people are expected to do whatever it takes, and as many hours as it takes, and they don't get the time and a half. I put in several weeks' worth of extra hours, and I'm not complaining. I do appreciate my job. I do appreciate my benefits, but I hope you will vote as the subcommittee recommended and give us a cost of living and remove that insurance for this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Anybody else?
Will we have another chance before we make a vote?
Well, it just depends if it's pulled from the agenda. I mean, I assume. This is the first time we've done this, so I guess there's probably a little confusion. Remember, you asked us to add a special limited public comment on non-agenda items, and that's what this is intended for. There's another public comment, another limited public comment before my report, and then there's another public comment at the end, and that's according to your board rules. So it's really up to the commission, but it's really up to the commission on how you handle that.
The chairman has a discretion to allow public comment during an item that's pulled. I mean, you know, so.
I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Are we happy now? Okay, we'll close public comment. There are no special orders of business. We'll move right to the consent calendar.
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with by one commission motion without discussion. Any member of the commission, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed therefrom and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. If any item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted in parentheses on the agenda is approved by a single commission action adopting the consent calendar. Receive and file. Number 1, resolutions regarding MSU Extension, Allegan, Berry, and Lake counties. Number 2, resolution in support of economic development activities of West Michigan Shoreline Regional Development Commission, Lake County. No referrals. Approval of minutes. Number 3, board minutes of regular session of October 28, 2009. Recommend approval. Public Safety Committee recommends approval of the following resolutions. Number 4, Grand Traverse Sheriff's Office vehicle purchase. Number 5, 2010 Marine Safety Grant. Human Services Committee recommends approval of the following resolutions. Number 6, Amendment Number 12 to the Dental Services Agreement. Number 7, Acceptance of Contribution, Health Department. Number 8, MDEQ Local Health Department Agreement for fiscal year 2009-2010. Number 9, Acceptance of Donation, Commission on Aging. Physical Resources Committee recommends approval of the following resolutions. Number 10, Facilities Management Uniform Services. Number 11, Parks and Recreation Staffing Plan Amendment. Number 12, Twin Lakes Easement. Legislation and Administration Committee recommends approval of the following resolutions. Number 13, Mental Health Court Grant. Number 14, District Court Staffing Plan Amendment. Number 15, Crime Victims' Rights Agreement, Prosecuting Attorney's Office. Number 16, 2010 Wage and Benefit Package for Non-Contract Employees. Number 17, DK Security Policy and Procedure Revisions. Number 18, Teamsters Local 214 Lieutenants and Captains Command Bargaining Unit. Number 19, AFSCME Supervisory Bargaining Unit. Number 20, Martin Luther King Training Day. Number 21, Appreciation and Dissolution of the American Legion VVA Baseball Committee. Number 22, Appointments to Boards and Committees. Ways and Means Committee recommends approval of the following resolutions. Number 23, approval of revised 2009 apportionment report, equalization. Number 24, establishment of board rules committee and members. Number 25, negotiation of central records contract. Number 26, community policy, policing policy. Number 27, establishment of an ad hoc committee regarding the Siegel study. Number 28, budget adjustments.
Is there anybody in the public would like to have anything removed to the consent agenda? How about the board?
Number 12. Number 16. Number 17. Number 19. Number 24. And number 26.
Would you like to just name the ones you want to leave on?
That would be the rest.
Anybody else?
With Commissioner Max Power's permission, we received a request from the sheriff on number 17, and he has reviewed the policy, and he has some further concerns, and he asked if it would be all right to pull it from the agenda
That would be fine.
altogether so that that can come back to public safety and be reviewed with public safety and the sheriff. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Just going to exit?
So we'll just pull that right from the agenda, and it'll come back next month.
Okay. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented with the exception of item 12, 16, 17, 19, 24, and 26.
Support?
Moved and supported. Roll call vote, please.
Please?
Yes.
Max Bauer?
Yes.
Richardson?
Yes.
Stepka?
Yes.
Inman?
Yes.
Hooper?
Yes.
Thomas?
Okay. Thank you.
Trying to get the ones that are gone.
I haven't left yet. 20 minutes isn't up yet. Okay, item C, Administrator Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first one is the appointment to the Hospital Finance Committee, and I'm going to let Dean handle this one.
Well, I believe I came to LNA and we are one member short. My recommendation, as indicated in the chairman's letter, is to appoint Heidi Sheppy, the Deputy Finance Director, to fill out that term for the individual that we have not been able to locate. I feel she's very capable and will allow us to do the business that we need to do.
I would so move.
Support. Been moved and supported. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Carried.
The second item is just for information for the commissioners. I guess after I had my staff meeting with Bob Osterhout, I wanted to point this out to the board. On November 6th, we had a collection at Traverse City Holiday Inn of unused and old medications, and we collected 115 pounds of medication, and if you think about how much a prescription weighs, you know, that's a lot of medications. Bob actually told me it filled a 50-gallon drum with medication, so I wanted to point that out to the commissioners. I thought that was a real success. 5 pounds of which were controlled substances. Our sheriff's department was there and to assist.
5 pounds?
Yep. And then in our Take It Back program, down in the fourth paragraph, there also, I wanted to point out that the 2 prescription shop pharmacies in Leelanau County and then the prescription shop pharmacy and medicine shop in Grand Traverse County are collecting unused medicines, and they've collected over 200 pounds of unused medicines. So I just wanted to point that out. I think that's been a real success, and I know the Commission on Aging worked with our staff at the Resource Recovery Office, and so, you know, just in this last year, we've collected over 300 pounds of unused medicines, which I think was a success. So I wanted to point that out to you.
Just as an added, I've taken them back to the pharmacy at Glenn's too.
They'll take them at Glenn's, too?
I don't know if they take everything, but they took everything I had.
Okay. Item number 3 is the appointment of, or the recommendation by the City of Traverse City to appoint Commissioner Gilman to the Grand Traverse County Board of Public Works. And this is an appointment that's recommended from the city, but has to be ratified by the county.
I move that we appoint City Commissioner Michael Gilman as the city representative to the Grand Traverse County Department of Public Works Board.
Support.
Support by, please.
Has this been discussed or approved by LNA? Our board rules do state that appointments need to go through LNA. And I don't recall, since I have attended LNA meetings recently, that this has been approved by LNA.
No, it has not been reviewed by LNA. In talking it over with Chris Kramer, the appointments by the city are more of a pass-through and a ratification by the board. And it is, you're right, though, certainly to say we're going to hold on it and pass it back to LNA and have LNA look at it. I think in the past, we've done it this way simply in order to try to fill that seat and have the city representative sitting at the next Board of Public Works meeting. But that could be, if you prefer to do that, you can wait.
Ross?
The problem is if we send it back to LNA, then the first meeting he would be able to go to would be in January instead of, he already missed the one 2 days ago.
Yeah, if it's a pass-through, I don't see a problem.
Well, actually, he did not miss the one 2 days ago because I was there and he was seated in the audience. And yes, you are exactly right, Commissioner Richardson. He did not participate in the meeting, and that's a shame. But our board rules state that this has to go through LNA. And we either need to adhere to our board rules or change them.
Well, it's been past practice on a municipal appointment like this one. We've always passed them through and ratified them. I suppose we could change the board rules to read that if it bothers you that much, but it's just something they've done since you and I have been on the commission. It's never went through LMA. For city appointments.
I mean, if we want to be technical about it, we can make a motion to waive the board rules and then move forward with the motion to appoint Gilman.
I would like that.
I mean, we can do that.
Okay, I'll withdraw my motion for the time being.
Well,
then.
you can amend your motion to
Okay.
include,
Then why don't we do it that way? I amend my motion that we waive the board rules and not refer this to LNA before we approve it.
And I'll support that.
Okay.
So the motion is just to waive the board rules right now, is that correct?
No, it's
No.
one
And-
motion.
And to
And-
appoint Mr. Gilman.
And appoint him. We just added.
All right, okay. All right.
I'll see if that's the way she got it.
You can't read my writing.
By God, I can't. Any further discussion? Everybody understand the motion?
Yep.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion passes.
The fourth item is just another information item, just to let the rest of the board know. LNA discussed the 2% tribal grants for this year. I prepared for the board, for the LNA committee, a recommended set of criteria for them to consider and modify as necessary. And the LNA felt, at Chris Kramer's recommendation, with the short time that was available, that proposers would not have time to do an adequate job of an application and then be screened by our LNA committee. So the recommendation was to go ahead and do as we have in the past and approve all the 2% applications for this December, but implement the criteria and develop and implement criteria for June's round and actually begin that in June. So this is just more information to let you know that that was their intention.
Sounds sensible.
And lastly, Commissioner, I apologize, but the claims was not listed on here. It was inadvertently left off. Dean has passed out the claims, and I will turn it over to Dean.
The two things of note, under payroll, about 2/3 of the way down, the benefits are actually for the month of October. We have not posted the November benefits posting at this point, and we were presenting to the board prior to the, having the information for October, so we have a little bit of a mismatch there. But the total claims, minus the STEPCA and APRIA claims for the month of November with that modification, are $6,630,434.87.
I would move that we approve the claims of $6,630,434.87.
Support that.
Supported by, I think Stepka was first. Discussion. By roll call, please.
Max Bauer,
Yes.
Richardson,
Yes.
Stepka,
Yes.
Inman,
Yep.
Hooper,
Yes.
Fleece,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes. Do we have a motion for the Stepka? and the
Move for,
Priya?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the STEPCA PRIA claim for $7,082.17.
Any discussion on that motion? By roll call.
Richardson,
Yes.
Stepka,
Abstain.
Inman,
Yes.
Hooper,
Yes.
Fleece,
Yes.
Max Bauer,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes. Thank you.
That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Reports of standing committees. Item number 12, Twin Lakes easement.
Yes, I pulled this, Mr. Chairman, because I strongly believe that if Grand Traverse County is granting a permanent easement to an energy company such as Consumers Energy, and I do understand that there is a benefit to members of the public, they need to pay for it. We shouldn't just give it to them. I did have a conversation tonight with several of the Light and Power Board people to get their feedback on whether or not my feeling was appropriate. And the indication I got from the people I spoke with at Light and Power was yes, Consumers Energy should pay for this easement. Keep in mind, this is an easement that is going to go on forever. Consumers Energy, the public should get something for giving this. The Grand Traverse County residents should get something, and they're not. We're giving it to them, and therefore I will be voting no on this.
Anybody got any comments? Ross?
Is there a reason we did not ask for any payment for the easement?
Typically, on an easement that is providing extending services into an area of the community that will improve the access to those services, the county is not required an easement. If we're doing it, through our land for a private entity or for a financial gain, we typically do. But in this case, the county's always taken a position that there's a public benefit to having this easement for the people that the power line is extended to, and because I understand it's a larger line, and so that it'll provide better service, and so we have not done that. But you certainly have the right to.
But they could have stayed where they are now and gone across
That's correct.
the southern lake there, right?
You are correct.
Which is privately owned. Well, one would assume they're paying for that easement, correct?
I have no idea.
Where's it run now?
It runs on the other side of the road,
On the
kind of
south
across
side.
the pond.
Yeah, across the lake.
Yeah, it's more of a lake than a pond, I guess. And they wanted to put it on this side of the road, so.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
I'll support that.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same?
Aye.
I
Roll call.
Stepka,
No.
Inman,
Yes.
Hooper,
Yes.
Fleece,
Yes.
Max Bauer,
No.
Richardson,
No.
Thomas.
I think because I want to take another look at it, I'm going to vote no.
Motion failed.
So do we have a motion to take it back to committee?
That would be appropriate.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion, we refer this back to fiscal resources.
Support.
Been
I'm
moved-
sorry, who voted?
Your step, I think.
Either one.
Been moved and supported. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Goes back to physical resources. Next one is number 16, page 31, wage benefit package.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I removed this for several reasons. One is, I do believe, and I've stated it numerous times, I do believe everyone should pay something for health care. And I do believe that this motion is a step backwards. That being said, I understand that we have employees that are being treated differently than other employees. Also, that being said, I believe that we should do one or the other, and therefore I will not be supporting this motion. We should either raise their salary or eliminate the health care, but we certainly should not do both, and I therefore will not support this. Thank you.
We discussed this at length in LNA. They're the only group today that, like Diane stated earlier, I think it was 2003, they started paying 10% of their hospitalization. They're the only group left in the county that pays it. And we looked at the rest of the employees and where their salaries were in respect. And our recommendation from the committee was to have them discontinue paying 10% and to increase it by 1.5% for the non-contract employees.
I can make that motion?
Yes, I would make a motion that we have them discontinue paying the 10% and we increase their wages 1.5% for this year, for next year, I should say.
The way the resolution says.
Yes, exactly.
Moved and supported, discussion?
Larry, you said that they're the only ones left. Now, I understand that we, for the elected officials, we eliminated their copay, I think, last month. Is there anybody else who used to pay 10% of their health insurance?
No.
So basically, except for the elected officials, this is the only group that has been paying part of their health insurance.
That's correct.
Anybody else? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed, the same?
Aye.
Aye.
Roll call.
Inman?
Yes.
Hooper?
Yes.
Please?
Yes.
Max Bauer?
No.
Richardson?
No.
Stepka?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Go. Next one is item 19, page 46.
That would be me again. And Dennis, I just have a question about this, that the supervisory bargaining unit, what, does that include appointed officials?
It includes chief deputies.
And they are
Several
appointed?
other supervisors, yes.
Why are chief deputies in unions when they're appointed?
It's done a variety of places differently. I know the Register of Deeds has claimed that her appointment should not be, and I have been in counties where they are and where they are not. And so...
Well, excuse me, I am aware that we have some counties where they are and some counties where they're not. We have
Okay.
chief deputies that are in the bargaining unit, and do we have chief deputies that are not?
I'm not aware of any chief deputies that are not. The undersheriff would be the closest thing that comes to a chief deputy who is an appointment by that elected official,
Okay.
and he is not.
Okay. Is there a reason that Grand Traverse County has gone this way, or?
It was that way long before, so I don't know I don't know.
I was just curious.
Yeah, go ahead.
Been that way as long as I can remember. Bonnie, you probably have been here longer than me,
Bonnie's actually in that unit.
and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
It was back when Linda was even a chief deputy. I don't know, Linda's been here forever.
Okay, I was just
Yeah.
curious.
Well, Commissioner,
know.
as it relates to this item, there is currently, I've met with the prosecutor and with the Register of Deeds on 2 occasions, and the prosecutor he evaluated it once, and he's relooking at it to see if, in fact, it's appropriate for them to be in the
I was
bargaining
just
unit.
wondering why,
Oh.
if they're appointed.
Excuse me, I thought of
I'm
another
sorry.
one. The chief deputy in the prosecutor's office is not part of this group. That person is also non-union. So I've talked to Al Schneider about it, and Al is reevaluating it. As it relates to this, it probably won't impact this, because if it's determined they should not be in the union, we'd have to go through the petition process to have them removed, and then this would not apply to them, obviously. They would fall under I would assume, the non-contract group.
Okay,
But it's a legitimate question.
that's it. Thank you.
Would you like to make a motion?
I would move to approve the supervisory bargaining unit agreement.
Support?
Any support? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Number 24, page 51.
This is a quick question. Who is going to call the meetings? And that's basically it.
Well, my
That was a good point.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, that's an excellent point, and Dennis and I ended up just briefly talking about it in passing today, that I think it would be appropriate for the chairman to appoint a chairman of the committee that would be responsible for getting the best date for everyone to meet and at least lead the process through.
Okay,
That was
that's
excellent.
fine. That was my only question.
That's an excellent suggestion. So,
Who wants
I
to
just
do it?
Was leave it up to Tom.
You want to do it? I was going to say we can hang it
Ross
on
is
Wheelock because
volunteered.
he's not here.
Ross,
I'll do it if you want me to, I don't care. It's up to you.
So whoever
Okay,
Dick
that's
wants to do
fine.
that with, yeah.
Then we would have
Can I make a motion?
Sure.
we could,
Yeah, you gotta pass the resolution.
yeah, first
so.
you got to pass the resolution.
Okay. I would move that a Board Rules Committee be established to review current rules and recommendations from the Board's Relations Committee meeting and Civil Council, and to make recommendations to the full Board of Commissioners, and that this committee be comprised of Commissioners Beth Friend, Sonny Wheelock, Ross Richardson, Christine Maxbauer, and Larry Inman, and that Chairman Dick Thomas designate one of these members as the chair.
Support.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Carried. All right, entertain a motion to appoint Mr. Richardson.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported by Max Bauer. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Carried. Next one is number 26.
Okay, the reason I pulled number 26 is we received a letter from the city commission, from the city, and I think it's appropriate that we respond in writing. And all I'm suggesting is we write a letter back to the city commission and state that our administrator negotiates these things, and that we have an intention of working together. That's basically it. But I just wanted to make sure that we would respond in writing.
Would you want to include in that letter that we have also some internal housekeeping that we want to put in order?
Housekeeping?
Internal
Yeah.
housekeeping?
Yeah, on the community policing policy you're talking, correct?
Yes, that would be, well, I'm not the one that's going to write the letter. I mean, our administrator, I think, would probably be writing the letter, but I do think that we need to respond in writing, and that really is my point.
I think that's an excellent
It
suggestion.
doesn't need to be part of this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we passed the resolution, but, you know, they presented a letter to us, I think we should present a letter back. I mean, to be professional about it.
Sure.
So, another good suggestion.
As long as we keep in mind that anything that comes along, the sheriff has got to agree to.
Commissioner Friend called me today and asked me to reiterate that same concern, and she agrees
Okay.
with that, and so I promised her I would get it on the record. She wants a letter to go to the city.
Do we
Seems
have
to
a
have
motion to
consensus.
accept this resolution?
I'll move.
Support.
Been moved and supported by Fleece. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same, carried. Now we'll take a motion on the letter if you want.
I would,
No, we don't need
Got
don't need a
consensus.
Okay,
No.
good. That's one less motion.
Old business, new business.
Right along.
Is there any old business? See any?
No.
No. Is there any new business?
I've got some.
Oh, good.
Now, I'm determined to make this meeting.
I am. I'll be quick.
Good.
Okay. We had our solid waste ad hoc committee meeting recently, and as we were conducting the meeting, I'm hearing that the Board of Public Works has authority over resource recovery, solid waste, et cetera, et cetera. So I asked the question, why does the Board of Commissioners set the tipping fee? You stop and think about it, it's basically the only thing we do.
Because we have authority over the Board of Public Works.
I understand
I don't know
that,
the
but if it's the Board of Public Works' responsibility to handle resource recovery, why are we stepping in? This is their job. And I think that needs to be changed. I think that the Board of Public Works, if it's their job, that they ought to have it. It's their responsibility. Why are we stepping in and forcing, I don't know, whatever our opinion is on them and forcing them to work with it?
Maybe because we're electable and accountable.
I don't know about that.
I would agree. They wouldn't be accountable to the electorate like we are.
It's a tipping fee. It just makes no sense to me, and I would just like this to be brought up at a committee meeting and discussed.
Well,
That's all.
I think you hit on something, and that is there's really a mishmash between what they do and what we do and what our practice has been, what their practice has been. And, you know, for example, you know, we've been told that we can't, we have no authority on the assessment fee for the septic treatment plant. It's the Board of Public Works.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you know, but we're the ones that vote on the tipping fee, not the Board of Public Works. I don't know if they ratify ours or not mechanically. And then, you know, for a long period of time, we've batted back and forth like a tennis game about, you know, who is going to oversee the solid waste and resource recovery area. And, you know, we've placed more weight now on the resource recovery area committee than the Board of Public Works to make those decisions. And then, you know, we got frustrated, so we took it over and said, we're going to have to now make the decision on some of these issues. And, you know, we had joint meetings with the, you know, resource recovery, and we didn't really go to the Board of Public Works. So, you know, I think it's probably in a point in time where with this whole discussion about, do we change the Board of Public Works complexion, the membership, should we just go to an authority? You know, and if they go to an authority, who takes over the other responsibilities that we've placed on them? So I think, Chris, you've hit on something that has bugged me for a while, and that is, you know, who's on first and whose responsibility is it? So, you know, it would be helpful to see if we can get, maybe the answer is already there, but, you know, I think we need to, at some point in time, try to determine who's going to do what and who has the authority to do what and how we want things structured.
Okay. I'm not trying to unload responsibility onto the Board of Public Works. What I'm saying is, if it's the Board of Public Works' responsibility, if it's their job to manage resource recovery, then we ought to let them do it. If it's not, then we need to move resource recovery under the Board of Commissioners. And I would agree with you, Commissioner Felice, yes, we are elected and we are accountable. I think what we need to do, however, is put everything for resource recovery either under the Board of Public Works or under the Board of Commissioners, rather than do a mishmash and split responsibility. It's just my opinion, and it's why I would like to see it sent to committee.
Sounds to me like you've been talking with Commissioner Inman, using the same vernacular.
No,
I
I didn't.
We haven't even talked about it.
He's been in Florida. No.
I've felt for a long time that resource recovery really doesn't belong under the Board of Public Works. I mean, it's not something that relates directly to the sewer and water and all, what the townships do and so forth. But perhaps, and I certainly don't want to, make a proposal tonight, take action tonight, but perhaps what we need to look at is a special subcommittee to maybe talk about, some structural issues of how the whole relationship between Sewer and Water, Board of Public Works, Resource Recovery, and us works, because it is a mishmash, and it's very confusing. It was confusing before I was on this board, and I've been on this board now for 11 months, and I'm not sure I'm any less confused than I was when I started.
Yeah.
I know more about it, but it doesn't make me less confused.
I think our chairman could probably answer a lot of those questions. He sat on the BPW board for years as the commissioner's representative.
Or actually, John Axe, hasn't he come up with the
They were
framework?
already under the Board of Public Works when I was on, and that was a long time ago.
Well, John, I think we've touched on this last several years in the discussion with the Board of Public Works about what structure would work best for them and those kinds of things. And John Axe came up and did a presentation and made a report out of it. And I don't know if the questions we're asking today are in that report, but probably would be a good thing to do to just review that report and then bring our questions forward and then try to work through them. I mean, what do you think, Dennis? Or you're probably going to say, well,
No, I think that's a fine idea.
I mean, is that an idea to do it?
What I will do in order to prepare for that is I'll pull the John Axe report so you have it. We have an opinion from John Axe that says that legally the BPW is the one that has to do the special assessment, and that was corroborated by the opinion from Michael Houlihan.
Because at the form districts.
And I don't know I can't recall, legally, you have the responsibility to do the
Tipping fee?
Tipping fee.
Well, tipping fee is, we call it something else. Surcharge, thank you. Tipping fee is what you pay at the landfill, surcharge. But and what Dean and I were talking about, I'm not sure if it's required by law that the county board has to set the surcharge, or if it's required under our solid waste plan or our ordinance. And that's what we'll have to check, because if it's in the plan or the ordinance, then it can be amended. If it's by law, of course, then it can't. But, as you said, Commissioner, the decision could be made to pull resource recovery from the board of the DPW into this other area. So I'll collect some of that information for you. At which committee are we going to?
Physical resources.
Physical resources, okay. I'll pull some information together.
Okay, that gives you something to do.
Yeah, you gonna be able to get that together for next month?
I'll have it for you in 2 weeks.
Okay, well,
You know what we missed?
nothing yet.
Public comment.
Old business, new
Back
business?
to public comment. Here, you're used to talking.
I don't know if we meant to have 3 limited public comments in the agenda, but it's the way it's printed.
Three?
That's because that's the way it was in the
I thought we were
rules.
just going to move the second one up.
Well, I think
or the
that's a
first one up.
perfect thing for the Rules Committee to look at and kind of reevaluate the way we want that to look.
All right.
Yeah.
Do I have to leave now, or is it really public comment?
Public comment.
Yes, it is now.
But it's limited for
Oh, I
you.
guess
Just so long you don't, just so
We're
long you
timing
don't say
you.
anything
We just
bad
want to know how
about
the windows
Commissioner
are.
You're on the minute.
Actually, I wanted to thank you in person.
No, your name.
Oh, I forgot, Jamel Anderson. I wanted to thank you in person for the remodel that's done upstairs. And we still have some settling in to do, but the most significant and most challenging part is done. And we have been working out of the new dispatch center. It is a very rewarding sight to see the dispatch personnel sitting at those consoles with that room, and it's just great. It's wonderful, and I am grateful to my staff, Jason, Tori, and several other people who put in lots of extra hours of work to make sure all the technical things worked right. I cheered them on during that process, but there wasn't very much other help. But it's a wonderful thing, and thank you very much for that. And I hope you've all had a chance to come up there, and you're welcome anytime.
Cool. I just think the staff should be congratulated. I mean, when you think about transitioning all those consoles, all the wiring, and be able to, I know Jason had so much to do with it, to be able to have that be so seamless. I mean, really, it took a day and a half, and they were, all four of those, the four anyway, were working and up, and we had no problems with it. That was wonderful. You guys did a great job.
Just got position 5 going, and we're still working on things, but it's great. The staff is just really enjoying the new furniture, and it's such an improvement in the atmosphere. I can't even explain it, so thank you very much.
What
I understand.
firm actually did the physical moving of the radio equipment and wiring and so forth?
Radio North. We bid it out, but they're under our maintenance contract also.
But they're the ones that actually did the work?
They moved the radios, yes.
Yeah, the technical.
Well, we had AT&T there.
Right.
No, I understand. No, I'm talking strictly
Yeah,
radio.
they were there, and they had a lot of people there, too.
Yeah, and it was hard to coordinate everything, and that's where Jason, I give him a lot of credit, because thank goodness he has a lot more patience in getting everybody coordinated to get all that work done, but it worked
And Dean
very well.
Dean reminded me, I didn't want to forget, our IT department kind of
Yes,
worked
Don.
day and night,
That's right.
working on that as well, so thanks
Took
to
a
them
lot
as well.
of
Miles
effort.
of cable, I imagine.
It's almost scary. There's a lot of wiring, but it's done, and we're very happy.
I understand they're not going to start covering your windows till next Tuesday.
If we weren't recorded, I'd say I know where you live, but I
Anybody else? Okay, get out your little calendars. Notices. Oh, I noticed we got Christmas next month.
Just one item, Mr. Chairman, for Chris Maxbar, I will not be at Human Services in December.
When?
In December, Human
Yeah.
Services, he will not be there.
Yes.
Oh,
And I will not be at the BOC next month. In
okay.
fact, Larry, I'm probably not going to be able to make claims and accounts on the 22nd. I think I'm
The
scheduled
22nd,
with
you-
STEPCA on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want me to take that
If
for
it's
you?
possible for you to,
Let me pull it here real quick. Hang on, I'll tell you right now.
Okay,
Yeah, the 22nd, I'm going to.
okay, well, we could, maybe we could move claims and accounts up to the 21st, Mike?
That's fine, yeah.
I mean,
Can
anytime
they do
it
that?
works on the 21st.
Well,
Yeah,
Hang on.
we have to make sure that they can be ready.
Oh, right,
I'm
I'm
sure.
sorry.
we-
I mean, you could do it on the 23rd.
No, I'm still
No,
going to
he's
be
still
gone.
gone. If he's gone on the
I'm leaving-
22nd, he's got
I'm
to
leaving on the
be
morning
right
of the
there.
Larry's
22nd.
back.
I'm available the
Oh.
morning of the 23rd.
All right.
Then
Would that be
is Mike
easier?
available?
If you want to do the
I can probably,
We could go for the 21st.
Does the afternoon work for you, Mike?
yeah,
Okay,
Monday, yeah.
so why don't we come up with a, I'll talk to
Is
Mike.
that
We'll come up with
afternoon?
a time on the afternoon of the 21st?
That
Yeah,
work?
please just let us know a little ahead so we can get it posted.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right.
in case anybody's interested, on the 14th at Green Lake Township's meeting, they're going to have the septage presentation by Ross, and they expect a small war.
Oh,
And that
What
would,
time is that?
that would be the first, 6 o'clock.
Which day?
That would be the first,
14th, I think he said.
yeah, and they're going to meet down in the library rather than, because they think they're going to have a bunch of people, but I haven't seen any big crowds yet, so.
he's doing the Peninsula on the 8th, and I think it'll be pretty mild. Anybody?
So, With that, if you want to go into a closed session, huh?
Yes, sir.
Motion to move to a closed session to address the sergeant's negotiation.
Support.
Moved and supported by roll call vote.
Fleece,
Yes.
Max Bauer,
Yes.
Richardson,
Yes.
Stepka,
Yes.
Inman,
Yes.
Hooper,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes. Boy, look, now they can have commercials.
I was going to call somebody and tell me I missed the meeting.
And for those who are watching at home, this will probably be 5 or 10 minutes, and there will be no action as a result of it. It's already on our board.
By one fan.
Did you see the letter that came? Linda sent that letter. Did you call her?
Hey, we're out, look at this.
This is like,
8:05 and we're out of here.
Started at 5.
Oh, really?
New record, but a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Gol darn. I think this is a record for this board.
It is, even with closed session.
Well, I don't know. We had one time in Acme.
and you
it
know,
was pretty
Sonny will
quick.
say it's because Beth isn't here, and Beth will say it's because Sonny isn't here.
Well, I was,
Well,
as
you
I
say it's
told
because
you.
they're both not here.
Yeah.
I had 21.
I didn't wanna bring it up.
Once before, but it was, Linda was here.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I'll
Wait, we
make a
gotta make
motion
sure.
to come out of closed session.
Support.
Moved and supported to come out of closed session. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're out.
Thank
Motion to
you.
adjourn?
So
Motion
move
adjourned.
for adjournment.
Support.
All in favor?
All in
Aye.
favor? Say goodbye, Dickie.
Say goodbye, Dickie.
I think on our last motion, when we say move to
night, Bob.
adjourn, we should all say, instead of aye, we should say bye.